On the Wado Radio Show.
Of course, it's DJ Wado. It's the Wado Radio Show. It's more than music. It's ministry. WadoRadio.com is the website, of course. And we got Marty and Fern, Social Club, the Misfits, back on the show on the line with us. What's up, homies?
Oh. Yay! We're good. Back in the building. We left the building. And now we sat in the lobby for a couple hours, and now we're back inside of the actual building.
Back inside the actual building.
We drove into the garage, and now we're in the building for real.
So, man, let's start with the new album. They just came out, Us, man. How you guys feel about it? How you guys feel about the response and everything that came with it?
I mean, we're really excited. It was something different for us. You know, we try to make an album. Basically, we just kept it all in-house. Like, locally, our friends, you know, Ray King and D-Flow, we just sat in a room for a couple weeks and just kind of popped out an album real quick. And then, you know, I think the whole thing about it was we really didn't want to do many features. We just wanted it to basically be us. Or, you know, really the only feature outside of us is, like, Script, who has a song on there, and he produced on it.
Yep.
But, and then Marissa Jerome, but still she's not like a super well-known, you know, artist. We just wanted to work with people who, you know, we just wanted to make good songs without any big names. Just kind of like us doing what we want to do, have fun, and the process was amazing. The album release went out real smooth. You know, we got back, we hit on Billboard 7 times. Number 3 in the Christian albums, number 9 in top hip-hop albums, number, like, I think it was like 13 on top digital albums, 60 on top independent albums. You know, it was a good week of a release. So now we're just kind of like, you know, we're still performing. Nothing's changed, and we're just working hard. It's been a really good, real good rollout, I guess you could say.
Yeah, yeah. Fern, man, for you, you know, hearing Marty kind of talk about the success on the charts and stuff like that, man, like, did you ever anticipate this Misfit thing getting to be as big as it is and be able to have a fan base that can support y'all the way that it is?
Man, I'll tell you, man, I wake up every day and it's still brand new. Like my daughter, even though she's 3 years old, she's still brand new every day. This is so surreal to me. Mind you, I was always rapping and I always dreamed about, you know, rapping one day and things of that nature. So, you know, technically it's something I see myself doing. But where God has taken it and how he's taken the Misfit movement and, you know, just did a whole completely different thing with it, did his thing with it. Nah, I never foreseen that happen. I always foreseen myself rapping at some point, but I never foreseen myself being involved in something so powerful that's godly. You know what I'm saying? Godly thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm hearing, man, the word on the street is that you guys are doing solo records next. Marty, is that true?
Yeah, so we're gearing to do some. You know, I think at the end of the day, Social Club is a big brand. You know, it's Social Club, but there's also 2 people in the band, and you know, there's many, I guess you could see, angles and many sides of us. And so we also going to do 2 solo CDs. One, I'm going to do one. Friends are going to do one. We'll probably drop some. You know, obviously, it's the team. It's Social Club presents Fern. Social Club presents Marty.
Yep.
And it's just going to be, like, fun. It's just going to be, you know, stuff that we want. I think we've gotten to the place where we don't care what anybody wants to hear. We just want to make stuff, have fun, and it's kind of like just stuff coming for us. And, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about the Misfits. It's all about the people. And, you know, Fern has an awesome audience. Together, we have a great audience. You know, I have my audience, and I think all together we just win. The music is going to be that same standard of just greatness. And we're just excited about it. Just kind of like, you know, you get to the point where it's like, man, we love doing music together, but it's become so easy now. It's like, all right, what's a new challenge? How can we challenge ourselves to get better? You know, how can we challenge ourselves to talk on deeper on things, you know, that we, you know, probably just skipped over or just said one-liners about on our project. So now it's really about maybe getting more in-depth in our lives and in the way we see it. And we're really excited about it. You know, obviously it's going to be Social Club all day, but, you know, Fern has his sound, I have mine, and we're really excited about it because it's just something different.
Yeah, man, I heard this interview by Big Pooh, that used to be in Little Brother, and he was talking to I forgot who the interview was with, but he was basically saying how when he was in Little Brother, it was like you couldn't really see him fully as an artist because he was a part of the group, and so he had to kind of do the corporate thing. And so I've always wondered, and so I'm actually really anxious to hear solo projects from both of you in terms of just, you know, who you guys are individually in total as artists. I mean, obviously, like, you know, you guys have done features and stuff and had some music pre-Social Club, but I think kind of at this point in your lives, I think that'd be real interesting, man. I mean, Fern, what do you think your sound is going to be like on this project, man?
I mean, first things first. I mean, when it comes to Social Club, you know, although we put our total effort into it, you have to really stand back and see that I can't necessarily be 100% Fern on a Social Club album because I have to leave room for the other 50% of Martin. When we do these songs and we make these movies, we put 100% of a 50. You got to really think about it because together we form Voltron together. So he brings his half and I bring mine. It's 100% of my halves. But at the end of the day, there's another half that I haven't been able to put in because at the end of the day, it's just something that Social Club does together to become Social Club. When we do solos, it'll be that second half, like almost that untapped potential, that other side of the brain that no one has ever heard. Mine and Martin as well. So, you know, there's just stories and things that, you know, like when you're on your own, there's just parts in your life that you lived on your own. There's stories that you can tell that you know, when you were in those dark places in your life that you know that needs to be explored and
yeah. And I would say there's only so much you could say on a record when you're with somebody else. And, you know, I think that's really the cool part. I mean, if it was up to us, we would be able to drop 2 verses on each song. But what you're doing is almost as when you're a part of a group, every song you do it's sort of a feature, you know? You're doing a song with somebody that you only get 16 bars when you really could probably go 48, 56, something crazy. So now it's going to give us the opportunity to branch out. And, I mean, if people were to be like, hey, what are you going to expect? You got to expect the unexpected because we're going to challenge what you think as a listener you want to hear because I think music is constantly evolving. And if you want to hear old-sounding music, you know, listen to another Christian hip-hop artist, I guess you could say. 'Cause they're probably redoing what Drake did 4 years ago. But for us, we're trying to constantly be better. And we're trying to push I mean, at the end of the day, we don't want to, like, clip ourselves and say that we're a genre or anything. It's more of like, listen, we make music and we want to stretch it in our lives. We want to, you know, do what Beck's called us to do, and that's reach more people every single time. It's about people. You know, the music's not about the label. The music's not about the industry. We don't care. We care about the people. You know, our inspiration is talking to fans and hanging out with people with real problems. So I remember J. Cole said that. He said, you know, the industry, they want you to release a certain type of way because that's how the industry works. That's not how people work. And I think we relate to that. Like, we make music for people. And, like, the thing is, as a person, like, I would love to hear my favorite artist release 2 albums in a year. And, you know, a lot of times the industry's like, no, you can't do that. You got to milk it. But, nah, it's time to change the rules. It's time for the artist to see music through eyes of a fan. Like, it's time to really change the game and let's have fun while we're doing it and be creative. You know, I hate when my favorite artist takes 3 years to work on one song or one project. You know, like, it's time to change that. It's time to make music that we can constantly enjoy, and that's how we feel, at least.
I got you. I mean, Marty, what would you say is your biggest frustration with the industry right now?
I think my biggest frustration is that, I mean, for us, we don't know really what we were getting into. We just wanted to make music for people who are misfits or real problems and stuff. And so I think one thing we were talking about today was it's so easy to, when you're making dope music, you know, everyone wants to be your friend. And everyone wants something from you. And so when you eventually get to the point where everyone wants something for you, they want to return, and you're like, listen, I just want to be friends. I don't want to feel like I owe you anything for supporting me. And like, you meet people on the road and you become friends, but then you wonder, like, when things get crazy and that, no one's really hitting you up, what kind of relationship was this? Was it based solely on the music, or was it? So, like, you know, that's one thing we're going through. It's like a transition with people in our lives, you know, and that's frustrating because you love the way things are, but things change, the dynamic changes, people change. I think as well as like the industry is one big lie. It really is. Like it's all perception, you know. 50 Cent can buy 100,000 copies of his album and hit #1 on Billboard. That's not people buying it. That's the label. So between labels buying CDs for people and like, you know, people saying like it's all really about the money, to be totally honest with you. I hate it like that, but it is. It's like, how can we make our brand profit over anything? And for us, we don't see it really as the money. It's more about the person. It's more about the people, the listeners. We're the people champ. That's who we are. And so it gets frustrating when people make it extra complicated just to make and do what you want to creatively do. You know, I mean, I don't know any other artist that has done solo stuff, and as soon as they sign with somebody, the music changes and it becomes weird and different. And you know, we're constantly, every album will sound different, better. It'll be better quality. We'll change it up every time. We get bored ourselves. So the industry doesn't really leave room for that for the artist. It's kind of like only independently can you get away with certain things.
Fern, do you see you guys staying independent, or would you eventually sign with somebody?
There's no need to change anything at this point. I haven't seen anybody or any label at this point that has offered us anything that we haven't been able to do self-sufficiently in-house, down to our banners at our merch table. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, until a situation comes, and I don't really foresee that happening, I foresee us building what we have to a next level to possibly be able to help other people and us become the connection. Instead of us, we've never really been the guys to look for a connection. We've always been the guys to kind of just do it from the muscle and try to become the connection. We actually have our hands in a lot of things right now that people don't even know about. You know, a lot of behind the scenes in this industry that people would never even understand how we got involved in. But people reach out to us, they ask us for advice, they consulting on a lot of projects, and you know, it's just ridiculous right now, the place where we are right now.
That's what's up. That's good, man. I want to shift gears a little bit, man. This video came out yesterday from Charleston, South Carolina, and it was basically a police officer gunned down a man that got pulled over for a broken taillight, and he ended up shooting him like 8 times. The man's name was Walter Scott. 50-year-old man died. And Marty, man, I'm just curious, like your thoughts on that, if you've seen the video or not.
Yeah, you know, we've seen the video. It's terrible. You know, it's terrible that we were talking about today. Like, it almost feels like it's a cop thing. Like, why is it a cop? You know, I don't want to say it's like a racial thing. To me, it's a cop thing. Like, why are there bad cops? You know, I have family members who are cops, and they're good. They're some of the greatest people in the world. You know, and to be totally honest with you, where we live in South Florida, we don't really see that. You know, we see it on television. We don't really see racism like everyone else, I guess, does in different parts of the country. For us, it's something that we see on television, and we're like, we don't understand it because we don't live that life. And I remember talking to KB about it, and I was like, KB, I want to understand, but I don't get it because, you know, where we live. And he was like, yeah. And he's like, I think that's the best thing is to, you know, understand that you don't first off want to be thrown in the bandwagon of, hey, yeah, I'm on this bandwagon, and I believe this, when you don't really fully understand something. And I think for us, it's a shame, and it's terrible, it's an injustice. But at the same time, it's something that we're trying to comprehend. I mean, we come from a place where we live in South Florida, bro. There is no, like, to be totally honest with you, to say, hey, I'm African-American is rare because everyone is diverse. We have Haitians, Jamaicans, we have people from the Bahamas. We have such a huge diversity. I mean, when we were looking at our crew the other day, and we're like, man, we actually, the only white people we know are pastors. Outside of that, like our crew is, we have a guy from Nigeria, we have a couple Dominicans, we have everyone's from an island, everyone's from a different part of the world, and no one's really like, I guess, American. We're all different cultures. It's very diverse. We're used to that, you know. Like my church alone is 90% Haitian. I love my church. I love my church more than anything. I never saw it as a thing until like as of recently, and people were like, "What kind of church do you go to?" I'm like, "I don't know, regular church. What do you think I go to?" You know, and And they're like, wow, you go, oh, yeah, you go to an Haitian church. I'm like, I don't. I go to a multicultural church that has a lot of Haitians in it. You know, and we've never seen color as a thing. I mean, even growing up, it's just not like that over here. So we don't really understand it. We see it as, you know, it's an injustice. And I wish the whole country was like South Florida, where it's just a very diverse country. We embrace what makes us different instead of staying away from what makes us different, you know?
Yeah, Fern, what about you, man?
I mean, you know, being a Spanish man growing up, man, you know, it's almost like being Swiss. We're in the middle, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love white people and I love black people growing up because I always been a both, you know? So growing up, have black friends and white friends. So coming from Florida, that's just how it is. You know what I mean? It is like that. But mind you, I know that in different parts of the country, it's way different, and it turns way different, 0 to 100. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I just pray that, you know, as a country, we can all unite. And I know that that's hard, you know, how it looks right now, but that we can all come together and figure out what's going on. Because it's got to stop, man. And I'm not putting blame on nothing. I just got to stop. We got to be able to live together as brothers, and we just got to be able to make that happen. Like I said, we just got to pray, because it ain't nothing that a man can come on.
Yeah, no, that's. I think you're dead on with that, bro. Dead on with that. You guys mentioned KB, and I know you guys got this tour coming up with him, man. How excited are y'all about that?
The tour with KB, yeah, we're excited. We performed with KB so many times, and Andy and all these guys, and we love them all. And it's just a big party whenever we're around. It's just kind of a bummer. We just thought about it, like, hey, why don't we have a song with KB? So we're going to change that soon. We'll change that soon, but, you know, we love him, and we want to support him, and it's cool to be, you know, originally the tour was going to be, you know, a Social Club KB tour, and, you know, after time and management, people trying to get their hand into it, it became the KB Tomorrow We Live tour, which we're cool with because, you know, we want to keep it between the family. We love the family, and that's what we're about. So it's just cool, man, and I love him to death. We're excited for his album. You know, he supports us, we support him, and it's going to be fun to hit these cities with friends. It's always cool to do things with your friends and with your family. It's dumb to do things with people you don't like. I see some tours, and I'm like, who are, like, they're just throwing tours together, you know. For us, we want to do tours based on relationships. That, you know, if it's not Andy, it's going to be KB. If it's not KB, it'll be somebody else. And we're just excited and honored to be doing it with friends. We want to keep it between friends. And, you know, I can't wait. Kingdom Promo and, you know, Nehemiah, it's one of our close friends, and we're excited. So, I mean, kingdompromo.net, get those tickets. We're going to be going everywhere. Hopefully, if we do it, it's so crazy we need a part 2. That's what we're looking forward to.
That'd be dope. But, I mean, how y'all going to fit a part 2 in your schedule right now, though?
I don't know, man. Honestly, we're booked. We're taking, right now we're finishing up November and December. We're basically booked for a full year, about 3 or 4 shows a week. Like this week, right before we got a call with you, we had a call with our booking manager. And she's like, hey, these people want you for this, which means you're going to be performing 4 days in a row, which we've been kind of trying to limit it to 3. But, you know, it's just an honor, man, to see, like, real lives being changed on the road. And, you know, we perform anywhere. We performed at venues. We performed at large conferences, churches. We just performed at a Quince, which is a 15th birthday for a, right, 15th? Yeah. For a Latin, you know, a Spanish-American, whatever girl. Like, so we got to perform anywhere. People want to book us. They want to bring us out, fly us out, talk. And it's just something special God's doing. And we're just honored that God would choose us to do something and do His work. And a lot of people feel like, wow, what a blessing. And, you know, there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it. And, but it's an honor, no doubt, to do, you know, what God's called us to do.
Yeah. Man, I want to talk about the pineapples for a minute, man. I thought that was such a funny concept when you guys came out with that, Fern.
It's crazy, though. Went from pizza to pineapples, and you know, we kind of needed to keep that same transition going over into the next album. But to be honest with you, man, sometimes that happens. Things really happen, man. There hasn't been a subject we haven't written about that wasn't a true subject or a real situation that took place. And, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, we got love for everybody. We love everybody. We're excited that everybody's excited about us being around and, you know, the albums and stuff. But sometimes, you know, just even besides music, just in real life, there'll just be people that, you know, are not aware of how hard they're going. And the reason I say that, it becomes a safety issue at times, too. Like, random, like Steve Black got body slammed at his own concert, and he's a tough guy, you know, so you know how that goes. It's rough out here. People are really, you know, feeling this music. They get really emotional. They really get, you know, they bond to it, and they feel like they bond to the artist. And, you know, and the artist is not aware of this bond. So it's crazy. But, you know, every song is true, and every song is written after a true experience. So there you have it.
Yeah, I was with a friend of mine the other day, and I want to get you guys' opinion on this. He actually thought, and I was trying to explain to him that I didn't necessarily think it was that, but he kind of thought that the Pineapples was almost like a diss song to some of you guys as more fanatical fans, and I was like, that kind of doesn't make sense, though.
Yeah, he didn't listen to the song then, because that's not what the song's about. The lyrics say, maybe we'll print out lyric sheets for everybody, but I think the song is really simple. We say heavy-handed. The idea behind it, the idea of a pineapple is, it obviously French says it. We call out the pineapples, but we got love for them. The basic idea is that there's some people that go really, really, really hard. And the reason, the idea behind this song was, we had a conference in Miami where we live, and a girl was just going really hard on me, in the sense of, like, just doing too much. And so at the time, our tour manager was like, bro, if something happens, what could you say to, like, make me know, hey, I need help? And so the girl had actually a pineapple hat on, and I was like, just say pineapple, and just come in and just save me so that, you know, she doesn't go too hard. And then, you know, it goes for everything. We have rappers who, like, will follow our car to give us their mixtape.
Wow.
We would call that a pineapple. Like, that's somebody who goes too hard. Like, we've had rappers, like, basically, like, look at our car, try to follow us just to give us a stupid mixtape. And, like, that just goes too hard. And so it's one of those things where it's not even our fans. Like, we love Misfits. The Misfits, we love them to death, and we make everything for them. But at the end of the day, you know, there's always some people who just push the boundaries and the limits, and we would say they're pineapples. It's not really a diss as much as it's one of those things that we made as a joke for, you know, friends to help us out. You know, if we're stuck in the middle of a situation. It's almost like, think of it like this. Like, you're at a party with your wife, and you're like, hey, I don't really know many people at this party, so if I get stuck in a conversation, I don't know what to do. I'm going to say kettle corn, and just help me out. It's a code word, help me out. And that's the way we think of it, bro. It's code word, hey, I need your assistance, come in here and save me from this conversation or this thing that's happening. And so, you know, we love Misfits, and we've said it and talk about it a lot. And the idea for me was more of, like, people who have bad intentions, you know? Like, the song, my perspective was a friend of, like, not really a friend, an ex-girlfriend, who basically was, like, she hated me. She told me, you know, I'm never going to be a nothing. And then once she started seeing the success, she was like, hey, can I come to the show? I love you, I miss you, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, wow, that's very suspect of you to even think to say that. And so that would be a pineapple situation right there. When fans go crazy, we go crazy with them. So it's not a fan. It's more of somebody with bad intentions or negative people, all that stuff. We just bunch it all together. I think for us, it's like, when you hear a song from us, it's very much so, you know, it's a glimpse in our life. It's not it's 1 second in our life. Every song is going to change, and so I guess that's the best way to describe it.
So I guess y'all got to come up with a new code word now, though, right?
Yeah, we actually, the code words changed and they intertwined. And, yeah, I mean, I remember one time I was with an artist, and I'm not going to say their name, but a girl wrapped their legs around him. And I was like, pineapple, bro, absolutely. And he was like, help me. And that's what, you know, that's what we could think of is some people go way too hard, and everyone knows that person who goes really hard. And if you don't know that person, it's because you are that person. So,
hey, every song doesn't need to pass like the scientific, you know, research paper. Like, some of these songs are just for fun. Some of these songs are we're just two wild and crazy guys who happen to love Jesus, and at the end of the day, we were going to make music anyway, and it's just God-influenced. We love Jesus, and we're Christian rappers. We're not shying away from that, but you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, some of these songs, you don't have to run them through the concordance. Some of them, you just have fun to them, and just be happy that at the end of the day, you can have a good time without having to, you know,
feel crazy about it.
Nah, absolutely, man. I want to go back to this tour thing with KB because I think it just clicked in my mind what you guys were saying. So this tour was originally Social Club KB, like kind of a joint thing, and then I guess the management wanted to go in a different direction.
Yeah. So last year, and this is normal. I mean, it's not something that's bad. It's just normal. So last year we were talking about doing a tour with KB, and so then the idea was given, and then we figured out, wow, we're actually dropping albums on the same time. So we kind of just planned it out like that. But things change, and I think KB had a change in his management. So did we. We had transitions with certain people who were interning and working for us. And so, originally it was going to be a KB and this, but, KB's album's coming out, and, we make things happen. I think that's what we do at the end of the day. If like, we don't have ego, if we want to do something, we do it, and we don't think of the ego. I think some artists are like, hey, we have to make sure it's the KB and Social Club. For us, we just want to win and see souls won. And so I think that, when we thought of it, we were like, listen, if KB's people or whatever want to do a Tomorrow We Live tour, we will do it. We don't care. It doesn't matter about who is the leader, as long as people are one for Jesus and lives are changed and we have fun in the process. So I think that's the heart behind it. Management will always step in and try to make sure everything is fair, and that's their job to do. And just like our people step in and make sure it's their job to do. But originally, it was going to be something different, and, now it's not, and we're still excited about it.
And people need to know a lot of the reasons why a lot of the people want to match the Social Club and actually ride with us is because we're not going to stay stuck. We're going to make sure to go ahead and make that thing go through. We're not going to go ahead and throw a monkey wrench in your plan. We're going to go ahead and make sure that the Lord is glorified. So we make sure at the end of the day, the show must go on and everybody's going to turn up. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's. I wanted to ask you that because I think for a lot of the fans of Christian rap music, they never really get a glimpse into the business side of it. They just get the music, yada, yada, yada. Whereas I think in the mainstream industry, there's way more resources and access and articles and journalism and books written on how the inner workings of things happen. And you have more conversation, I think, in some of the interviews and stuff around the business side of this thing. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of times people don't always understand why things are the way that they are. You know what I'm saying? So,
and the truth is about us is like we're open book. Like we don't tell secrets. We tell it like it is, and we're just straightforward. If anyone could tell anything, we're straightforward. It's not like it's facts. We talk facts. That's what we talk about. And I think some people, they see that as a bad thing as well. You should lighten the blow a little bit. Like just even what you said about your boy thinking, hey, they're dissing fans, and then we made a joke about it. Hey, yeah, he needs to get the lyric sheet. Listen, it's a joke. We love everybody. I think at the end of the day, for us, we just say it like it is, and that's what it is. So I don't think a lot of people like to talk about the business side of it, but for us, it's who cares? It's life. It's what we do. And, there were so many tours that we've been asked to do and be a part of and do this and that the other. A lot of them we just didn't feel like they were the right fit for us, or, too many people were on it and we just felt like, too many rappers, we just don't like being with so many different artists. It will feel, it's just too much. And so this is the perfect tour. We love working with Reach. We love working with every label. And as long as we can get it done, we don't care. It's when people prolong things and just tell us the truth. I think in business, my advice for any artist is, just cut through the junk and get the facts. What's going to happen? Don't cookie cutter it. Don't make it sweet. What is it? Let's talk about it. Let's deal with the problem. Let's deal with it, and let's make it work. Let's make it happen. Put your ego aside, because at the end of the day, we do this for Jesus. We do this for the kingdom. We do this to push culture. We do this for the misfit. That's the goal. So I think what happens is when you begin to get an ego, you think you deserve more than what you actually do, and the vision becomes blurry because now you're thinking about, well, what about this, and what did he say here? Nah, For us, the mission has always been clear. Reach misfits. Reach them for the kingdom of God. Have fun in the process. Change culture. Change sound. Do what God's put in our heart to do. And I think when you start to act like that, you stop worrying about other people, and you just do what God's called you to do.
Fern, do you think money is kind of clouding people's minds to some of this stuff that Marty is alluding to right here?
I think that a lot of people see us and they think we're like these crazy, super successful dudes, man. Thanks to Instagram, thanks to the camera angles. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, the perception is that we got this crazy thing going on, and we do, and it's amazing. But I feel like a lot of people have seen that, and they feel like they're just gonna go ahead and do it exactly how we did it, and they totally forget. The steps that we took to get here, and the nights that we were on our knees praying, and the nights that we cried and couldn't sleep, and they don't know how hard we worked to actually get here. They just see the end result. Yeah. And sometimes they really forget the favor. I always want to say this first and foremost. It's the favor of God why we've been talking to you right now. Because at the end of the day, everybody's rapping. Everybody's running circles around everybody. But guess what? We on the radio with Wado today. It's not about rap music anymore for us. That's secondary. That's just a platform. We already been rapping for 2 years. It's about what happens next. It's about what happens next. So we're already on that level. A lot of rappers, they don't understand on the level we on. We already understand that the rapping has got us to this place, but now we're on what's next. And that's capitalizing on the misfits and making sure that they all get pointed to the kingdom. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of people see it, and people been rapping forever, and they need money, and I tell people to chase their dreams responsibly. You need to have a job if you rap. If you're married, you need to make sure you supply for your wife. Don't be trying to book Iowa if where you live at ain't feeling you. You know what I'm saying? We have to be realistic. And we can't let the money cloud us. But I feel at the end of the day, there's a lot of desperate rappers. And when I say that, they've been rapping a long time, and they only see that as their only outlet. They totally forgot about everything else, and they see the end of the road coming up. I know it's rough, and I kind of used to share that because back in the days, I was older. So, I kind of just missed the cutoff, and I thank God, that we are where we are. But the money does, I see clouding a couple of people, you know what I mean? Because I know it could get desperate out there. I want to tell those people out there, if you know you got what it takes, man, hold on, man. Chase your dream responsibly, work hard. Get in tune with your wife if you're married and make sure that y'all share the same dream. You can't have your wife be like, yo, why are you still going out there and like this and that? And you got to be in tune with your family. You got to balance all that stuff out. It ain't about your rapping show. You still have a family. You still have people around you who depend on you with or without your rap. So I know a lot of people are going hard extra on the music because, they don't have anything else going on. And I feel like that's irresponsible. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. You got to have different eggs in different baskets. And, ain't nothing worse than a struggling rapper, man. I'll tell you what, man. Ain't nothing worse. I hear it right through your bars. I hear it right through your bars, you struggling B. You know what I'm saying? And I thank God right now that he allowed us, to see the days that we're seeing right now, because I remember being locked up, man, wishing I could be doing this. So, it's crazy, man. But, the money has a way to, try to cloud the mind up. I know little guys out there are like, they seeing us come up so fast because of Instagram and Twitter and all that. It's crazy. I know that's where they're from, and they got to see the game much faster. But when I was a kid, I only knew about 10 rappers because you didn't see them all at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And for Biggie to do a feature with so-and-so was a big deal because you never used to see them, and it was so crazy. Now they get everything so fast that they don't have respect for the craft. Everything is just microwave. Let's go, microwave. Let's go. So I tell the guys up there, if you're a responsible dude and you're working and you're doing your thing, man, that's what I respect. A person who chases their dream responsibly. Don't be out there telling your girl, hey, hold me down, man. My mixtape's finna blow up, and I got you when my mixtape blows up. At least have a job, man. At least have a job. So the money won't be that, cloudiness in that gray area. Because you're working. You're being responsible. If the money comes, the money comes. But don't let that be the only reason why you're rapping. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I went on everywhere there, but I know it gets real crazy. I could write a book. Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question is, what specifically is next for y'all? Like, I'm reading through the lines. I'm like, are they looking at starting a label to kind of put people on through that? Are you You know, are y'all looking at maybe doing movies, books, other forms of media?
Well, I can tell you this: we have a lot of opportunities. We're very blessed to have opportunities. I can tell you real quick about 2 opportunities. Can't get into it, but we definitely have about 2 possible TV shows that are kind of in the works right now. That's on actual TV. I'm not talking UPN. I'm talking actual television.
Yeah.
We have actually were approached about doing a radio show, which we're trying to I don't know if it's a podcast. It's really a radio show, but we had so much to say. They're like, maybe you want to do a podcast? I'm like, I don't know. I would rather do a radio show. So a radio show where we can introduce artists that we like and are on the come up. You know, we're constantly working on new material as music, because obviously music is what people know us by. We have a couple music videos coming out that are just insane, funny, where we are acting in, and you know, I think in all regards, we're just trying to change the game. You know, we're trying to stretch it. You know, we want people to be excellent. You know, in every way possible. We want people to know, as Christians, we could be the best. We could be the point person. We don't have to have a crummy and excuses and stuff. Why can't we dominate every area? Why can't we be the best in music and books and entertainment? You know, our live show is getting even crazier. You know, and everything we do, we're just trying to, we don't want to do everything, I guess you could say. We're trying to do a couple things, maybe 5 things, and do them extremely well. You know, instead of doing 10 different things and giving half on everything, let's do 5 things, let's pick things and do them very, very, very well. And so TV would be one of them. Music would be one of them. You know, the live show would be one of them. Clothing-wise, we have a ton of new clothing we're doing little side projects as well. For us, I think what it is how can we reach the misfit? How can we reach someone the most effectively? And that's what it comes down to. How can we reach somebody who, you know, what is somebody who's right now in college, what are they dealing with? You know, maybe they're dealing with bills, and how can we make an affordable CD for them? How can we make a movie? And how can we make a TV show that can affect different people? And I think that's what it is. How can we reach more people for the glory of God? You know, to know about our God. At the end of the day, you know, people get tattooed misfit on their body because they have identified with that. And for us, you know, that means a lot to have somebody who's identified with the misfit. And we know God's up to something. You know, we get to see 500, 600 people every single show and just talk to them about Jesus. And, you know, we go to some of the worst areas and we talk to these kids, and, you know, normally they'd be chaotic and crazy. They just stare at us quietly, intently, looking at what we have to say. And we have the opportunity to tell people about Jesus. We go from really wealthy areas to very poor areas and in between. And it doesn't matter. Wherever we go, we're going to shine the light of Jesus Christ.
That's good, man. That's good. That's what's important. This reality TV, or this is you guys acting?
Both. Yeah, 2 different things. Both 2 different things. Yeah, man, 2 different things. We're kind of pitching shows right now. We filmed one that's basically going to be pitched to a couple networks, and then we actually have some friends of ours also. One has a show on MTV, one has a show on Lifetime. We'll probably be putting our music and making appearances on those 2.
It's dope. That's what's up.
So we had a. For us, you know, we're fun. We have fun, and I think that's what people relate to. I hate listening to music that makes me feel bad. I like listening to music that can connect me on a level that they kind of understand what I'm going through. And for us, that humor has given us a lot more opportunities than we would ever dream of. And so from radio, from everything, we're just going to try to do it as much as we can, as long as our family is not ignored.
It's good. It's good. I remember, man, Marty, the last time we did one of these interviews, you were kind of talking about a story before you got into music. You know, how you experienced some church hurt, and obviously you've talked about it in, you know, your songs and things like that, man. And I know it's something that a lot of people deal with. Like, I've even dealt with it at different times in the past, man. And you know, I just wanted you to share real quick for you, man, like how you would kind of encourage people to kind of to get through that and how to seek healing in those situations, man, when they experience that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, I can tell you, I mean, I think the root problem of what I was dealing with was I put a lot of faith in people and not as much faith as in Jesus. So, like, I depended on my pastor for a lot of things, and in retrospect, I thought I was putting my faith in Jesus and the man of God, but God kind of shook that from me. And now I kind of understand, like, people are people. You know, we are imperfect people serving a perfect God. And what it comes down to is, you know, obviously, I think a lot of times when you're in the church, you become blind to things because you hope for the best. And I think when we come to reality with ourselves and we say, yeah, we do need Jesus, we need Jesus, like, we come down to that, you know, it becomes easier because you realize the pressure is now taken off you and putting more on God. Like, I'm not that good. We're not the best rappers, but through Jesus Christ, he opens up doors as if we were the greatest rappers in the world. And it's just a matter of God relying on God more than we rely on ourselves. And I believe that, you know, for me, I put so much faith in the church being perfect when it came down to, you know what, the church is run by imperfect people. It's not always going to be perfect, but that's what God's chosen to work on the earth. God's chosen the local church to basically, you know, he's using the local church to do what he wants, his will, and he wants to unfold his plan through us and the local church. And I think it's kind of weird. Lately I've been seeing a lot of rappers and people who I guess would say, hey, we are Christian, but then, you know, they're like, hey, we're not Christian. We're not Christian rappers. We're not this. We're not that. We're not that. But you still talk about Jesus. So are you not a Christian rapper, or are you just saying you don't want the title of a Christian rapper, but you rap about Jesus? So I think that for us, it's like a lot of people say, hey, no, we don't want to be a part of the church. We want to do stuff and reach people outside of the church. But I believe that God's called the church, which is not a building. The church, the word church in the Bible does not mean a building. It's ecclesia. It means the people of God. We get together and we have church in the hotel room. It doesn't mean that we are a church. We come together as a group of people united under the name of Jesus Christ. And I think that when we try to avoid working with the church, that hurts people, because God's chosen the church to reach people who are not in the church. That's the goal. But I think through American culture, we've realized we've made church a building. The church is not a building. Church is bigger than that. And what I could tell people who maybe are struggling right now with, you know, being hurt in the church, listen, the church might have hurt you, but God can use that. The Bible says that he can use the good and the bad, which people just want to feel the good, but the Bible says he can use the bad for his glory in your life, Romans 8:28, and that's why we wrote Coogee Sweater, because God can take everything together and work it together, and like he did that in both of our lives, me and Fern, God can take it all, work it together for the good of those who love him. And once you put your trust in God, listen, I know you've been hurt, you've been scarred, but listen, it's not over. God can use that, and there's a lot of people who have been hurt. God wants to use that. So God wants to use the church. Don't ignore the church. You can't ignore it. That's God's property. He put that in line to work a certain type of way. That is the bride. We are the bride of Christ. So I think it's important to, you know, understand that the church has a function, and we have to respect and honor God's function on the earth.
It's good, man. It's really good, bro. Hey, Fern, man, you've been in this game for a minute, bro. Why do you think this Christian rapper topic never seems to die, bro? Like, it always pops up in every generation.
Hey, but check it out, man. You know what it is, man? I feel like at the end of the day, technically they wouldn't say they're trying to hold on to anything, but I guess there's just something that they need. There's some sort of credential that they need that, you know, putting that title on them doesn't allow them to have. You know what I'm saying? Because if it was all good, then it would be all good. I don't know. I really have no answer for that. All I know is that I was going to be a rapper anyway. And then when the Lord talked to me and instructed me on the way that I should go, especially after coming home, because I always wanted to do music. Yeah. I just didn't think that I'd be a Christian rapper. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I think it should be taken seriously, because at the end of the day, we are talking about salvation and bringing people to the Lord. So guess what? I mean, you got to wear what you got to wear, man. You got to wear that thing proudly, man. So,
and it's, you know what I've realized? It's mostly like rappers saying, "Hey, I'm not this." It's not like fans. Like fans don't care. Fans like music. They don't care what you do as long as you make a song that they like. So, like it's usually like the artist who's like, "Well, I'm not this, and I'm not that, and I'm not this," and the fans like, "Why don't you just make some music? How about we just make music? How about I just enjoy the music you create? How about that happen?" As a fan personally, I'm a fan. We're fans of music. We don't think, well, oh, he's a Christian rapper, so that I have to put him in a box, or he's a secular, quote unquote, secular rapper. We never even saw that. So the rappers would say, "Hey, I'm not this. Oh, I'm not that." Like it's the rapper telling us what you're not. It's a cow telling us we're not a cow. Like I don't get it. Like just be who you are, dog. I don't know what the problem is. Why do we even care, bro? Good music always wins. Yeah. Our songs just got on ESPN. We just signed a contract for our songs to be featured on ESPN. We talk about God, but the truth is, if the music's good, people want it. It doesn't matter. We just had a song on a movie about prostitution, but the song talks about God. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If it's good music, people are going to want it. And you know what? The best thing we can do is embrace that our music talks about God, and it can be in any position, any place it wants to. Like, what's that Jewish rapper? There's a Jewish rapper, Fern. There's this guy, Madashahu. His songs are everywhere. He's Jewish. No one says, "Hey, he's the Jewish rapper." It's always like the Christian artist says, "Hey, I'm struggling. I'm not a Christian rapper." Who cares? Just make music that's dope and let it fly, let it go, let it move, let it do what it does, let God do what He does. We make a big deal about the stupidest things, and that just gets us off vision from stopping what God wants to do. If you have like I tell rappers all the time when they come up to us, "Hey, I want to be a Christian." "Well, what's your vision?" "Well, I don't really have one." Well, why don't you get a vision, attach yourself to the vision, and just do it? What do you want to accomplish as an artist? Do you just want to make music and do nothing? I don't get it. Like, have a reason why you make your music. Do it for a good reason. Do it. Maybe you just want to make music for people who struggle with this thing, or change the game and shift culture with your music. Do it. But just do something. Don't just aimlessly make music and not know where you want to go, because in the music industry, you will fail if you don't know what you want and and how much you're worth and what you want to accomplish.
I also need Christians wherever you are, in your workplace, whatever you do in life. Let it be known that you're a Christian, because it seems like these kids who get saved, that we bring them in, they all feel like they have to be Christian rappers. Every single one of them. You know what I'm saying? Every single kid that gets saved from the hood doesn't have to be a Christian rapper. We might be lining up at a show with 800 kids, and all of them got mixtapes, or all of them want to know what to do next, or where to send their music to. At the end of the day, I don't have a problem with that, because I used to be a young kid with a dream at some point. But at the end of the day, the church and Christian rappers and all of us, we all have to be realistic and know that the church needs all types of functions in the body. We don't need everybody putting out a mixtape. We need people being lawyers so we can stand up for the persecution that's going on. We need doctors to hold on to this life that we got going on for what we got it left, until we go see our makers. We need everything. We need mechanics. We need airline engineers.
We need engineers. Everything. Even if you want to get into music, we need engineers. Yeah. We need managers. We need people who say, "Hey, I could put on a tour in my city."
Learn the business.
Yeah, I think that's more important. I think, honestly, I thought about the other day, if I was not a Christian rapper, I would try to figure out how to make this thing pop. Whether it's working in the music industry, there's so many jobs in the music industry that you can get. You don't have to be a rapper. That's like really like saying like all there is in the church is a pastor. No, there are many people that make that pastor's job easy. I think that I would encourage you, like, whatever you want to do, make it happen. If you're not good at rapping, don't force it.
Don't be that guy.
Be a manager. Be a music manager. Be an engineer. Be a producer. Be someone who can step in on a project and say, "Hey, listen, I might not be the best rapper, but I know what a hit sounds like. Let me help you. Let me help you." There's so many jobs in the mainstream that people have, but in the Christian realm, it feels like people only think that you can either just be a pastor or be an entertainer, or there's so many people that we need to help, us do what we do, and vice versa. Like, we have a friend, Jesse, with the Way brand. He is an amazing concert promoter on the West Coast. We basically just do our West Coast, most of it with him. He has come to the point where he's like, "I just want people to know about Jesus, and I think I can promote concerts." And so he started doing it, and we've done thousands of people have come to the shows because he has said, "Yes, I will. I don't have to be a rapper. I could be someone who just promotes the concert." So encourage it because God's given you a vision. You don't have to be what you don't. I think people see what we do and they think it's easy and they try to reproduce it. You don't have to. Do whatever God's called you to do, and understand if the same God can use us, that same God can use you.
Absolutely. Just had felt we had to touch on that real quick.
Hey Fern, how did you know? How did you know what your calling was, bro?
I didn't know what it was. I just know that like I was always good at writing since like the second grade. I always remember in English class, like I would always write long novels. Like they would ask for a 5-page report, I would turn in 10. They would ask for 20, I would turn in 30, and that was my thing. I remember telling the teacher, I wrote 30. You asked for 20, I wrote 30. So I always used to write, and then for those who know, I'm a pastor's son, so I played the drums, and then in school I learned to play the trumpet. So I was a musical dude in my family as well. So, between writing and, getting with the music, that kind of all tied together. And, one of the cousin that I talked about in Coogee Sweater in prison right now, my cousin Papo, he used to be the rapper in the family. When he got locked up, he kind of told me, he's like, yo, you got to start rapping and stuff like that. And just being a musical dude already, it kind of took off. I was able to kind of do it without having so much, brain power into it. I was able to do it normally and just kind of be able to, be nice at it from the beginning. I always remember that. I was always nice from the beginning. It was something that I had. So I just kept going with it, man. I kept going with it, but I never knew it was a calling because I remember telling my dad as I was trying to play my secular stuff and have to turn the volume down because it was 4-letter words right back to back to back, that I'd rather be a librarian. I'd rather be a librarian, the most boring job on earth, than be a Christian rapper. But having that time away and having that time, in prison, I just really got to understand that, I had to use my words for something more powerful than what I was using them for. So, I was able to get my life together and just get my mind right during that time. And when I came home, I knew it was green light. I knew it was go time. But I always knew it was rapping. Like you said, what was your calling? I could say now, looking back, hindsight 2020, that was the coolest thing I was ever really good at. I always played the drums cool. I always played the trumpet really good. But the best thing I was ever at was putting words together. So as I started to get my life right, I figured that would probably be the coolest thing that I should use since it was my most powerful talent. Yeah. So I guess maybe that's how I knew.
Hey Marty, what about you, man?
You know what? I can tell you this. When I was a little kid, I actually wanted to be an artist. I wanted to draw comics. And either that or I wanted to be a pastor. Because I remember, like, not even really being a part of the church as a little kid, but just seeing the good that was being done and how much people, I always love, I don't know, man. I guess you come to a place in your life where you realize God is real. And these people are not, these lives aren't being changed because of goodwill and this. There's a God out there who's very real. And I always felt like I connected with God. When I read the Bible, I feel like I would get stuff that like God would basically download in my heart. And I always felt like connected to God. And like I knew I was called to do some type of a ministry or something. So when I was a youth pastor, I felt like I was eventually, from being a youth pastor, have my own church. That's why I left doing music. I was doing music with Raymond Soul. I did 3 songs and I stopped because I was like, I don't really want to do this. I want to be a pastor. I felt like the local church is what I was connected to. And when I got out of the church, I felt like, God, I'm not really even the greatest rapper. I'm not really this, but I'm going to do this is what I have, and I'm going to give it to you. And all I had to do was, I'm a good talker, And so God was like, I felt like God was like, listen, just rap, just try it. And I basically, everything came together, and it just worked out. If it didn't work out, I wouldn't have done it. And I think that winners, people who win, they know how to quit. They know how to quit the right things. And I love coaches, and I used to have a coach all the time that says, you'll never, if you quit, you'll never be a winner. But I think that a smart winner knows how to quit the right things. And if you know how to quit the right things, you'll know quicker what things you are better at. And there's a certain point that I feel like certain rappers, they keep pushing and maybe you got to stop. Maybe the best thing, maybe there's something else you're just not seeing that God will have for you. And for me, I never really wanted to be a Christian rapper or a rapper because I'm not really the biggest rap fan. And I think real rappers, when they hear my music, they're like, well, he might not be, but he knows how to rap. It just works out. And I think I always had the heart where whatever I did, I just wanted to do it great for God. That's why for 10 years I had a job where I worked at a department store, and I was HR, I was the admin, I ran the store, I talked to people. I loved doing that, but I never really thought in my future I would ever be a Christian artist. But I guess God took what I had, and I think that's why we're different in a lot of ways, is because we never really, it's not really for us about the music, it's more about the people. Like, we want to make music for people. We're not making music for an industry, a genre. It's about the people, and the misfits are everywhere. From people who aren't saved, for people who are saved, we're making music, and we're talking about a God who's very real, who loves you, and it's that simple. And so I think at the end of the day, I just said, hey, God, I'll do whatever you want, and he said, all right, well, I want you to do this. And it was funny because telling my mom and telling my family and having a conversation with them, like, hey, I rap now, was the oddest, most awkward experience of my life, because they went from never ever hearing that to be like, are you joking around with us? My family's all doctors. My family's all teachers. They don't rap. They don't do that. So for them, they were like, what the heck? Like, I remember sitting telling my dad, he's like, is this a real thing? Or is this like a phase? Or is this 8 Mile? Am I being punked by Ashton Kutcher? You know, and it's just kind of funny because it just happened.
That is funny, man. Hey, look, I got to say this, man. I'm really enjoying just hearing y'all sharing your hearts right now, because I can see how much you guys have grown as individuals over the years. You know what I'm saying? And just how much thought y'all are putting into this. And I'm really happy for all the success y'all having. Like, y'all some good dudes and good people. And I always feel like when good people perfect their craft and work hard at something, a lot of times the Lord blesses them and elevates them, man. And it's dope to see this happening to y'all.
Thank you, man. This is our second home. I feel like I'm about to go in your fridge right now. Yeah, I just don't, now to get food. Now to get food, you can only get, like, drinks. Like, you can get lemonade, but you can't get, like, a ham sandwich.
Well, look.
What if I make a sandwich, B?
Well, we'd have to order pizza, because right now I don't got no food in the fridge. I just came back off the road myself, so.
Order game strong, baby.
We had to get pizza. But that's good, man.
We're thankful that you've been a part of the journey. I think at the end of the day, if we could say anything, it's just, it's about the people. And I think that you're a man of the people as well. You're trying to reach people. And, it's cool when you're together and you have a like mind with somebody. And we just want to tell you thank you for every opportunity. And we can't wait to do more with you and see what God does. I really feel like this is the year that, I think Big Sean said it, but I agree with him. He was like, this is the year that we boss up. This is the year that we put the rubber to the road and we see what we can do with it. And I think for us as Christians, it's time to put the rubber in the car, put it on drive, push the accelerator, and see what God can do when we start to do things. And it's going to be a great year for everybody, man.
Man, you get an amen. You get an amen for that. We're gonna get churchy. You get an amen. For that. That's what it is. Hey, so look, more music by the end of this year.
Yeah, man, we're gonna be working on a bunch of stuff. You know what it is. We're doing music. We're gonna do singles, special features. It's time to be reckless as possible and have as much fun and make music for misfits. We love them, and I guess we're getting back to our roots as of recently. We've been getting actually crazier and having crazier talks and dreaming even crazy, like just dreams. So it's time to get wild. It's time to expect the unexpected. I want people to be like, I don't know what's gonna happen. What kind of a song is Social Club gonna drop next? Because we will always change it. It's time to change the game, man. And this is how we're gonna do it.
That's it, man. Hey, appreciate y'all.
Love you, man. Yeah, love you, bro. See.
Likewise.
On the Way Radio Show. On the Way Radio. On the Way Radio Show. Where it's much more than music, it's ministry.